Welcome back to the next video, guys. So I want to cover distractions on this because I think it is such a huge topic of importance about where you're placing your energy or these marbles of attention. And what I mean by that is where you're choosing to put your focus on. So I like to use the term juju. I think we only have so much juju stored up here, and we can only place that in so many spots. And so I get asked all the time on YouTube comments, emails, text messages like, Mason, what is your morning routine? What do you do? And I think that is the wrong question to ask. So I like to look at the flip side, and I call this counterintuitive thinking is kind of my process, or reverse engineering, whatever you want to apply to it. But when I look at morning routines, I think people are asking the wrong question. It's not like, the big question is, what are successful people doing that I am not? And I think we have to flip the script on that. It is, what are successful people not doing that I am, that I should cut out? Because what you don't realize about behind the scenes going on in a lot of these successful people's lives is that they have something what's known as leverage. So they have people trading their time for their money. And who can get more done in 1 hour? 50 people or one person? It's obviously going to be 50 people. So their morning routines do not apply to you or me because we are not at that same level of success as someone like Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. And you'll hear a lot of misnomers like, oh, if you don't make your bed in the morning, you'll never make money. I can tell you, I have not made my bed in the past, probably since I was 17 or 18. Why? Because making my bed does not make me money. I don't feel any positive reward for it, just for folding up my blankets and propping up my pillow nice and pretty. I literally sleep on a floor mat. Why? I can just toss it in the closet when I'm done with it. Now I've got all this extra floor space that I can do whatever with. So I can tell you that I have made money without making my bed in the last 7 to 10 years, whatever it is. So we have to get rid of some of these distractions. I don't write down my goals every day. I'm not writing down positive affirmations like I'm a sheep, I'm a lion, I'm an eagle, I'm soaring. No, like, for me, that does not work because I know when I look myself in the mirror, I'm lying to myself, or lying to myself. Get it? Ha! But so I got rid of all that stuff, and I just started focusing on putting my juju or my energy into the priorities or the money-making activities. And what I would do before I would go to bed every night was just say, hey, I want to get these 2 or 3 things done tomorrow. And that was it. When I'm working, my phone is somewhere completely away from me because that is the biggest distraction, is the cell phone. It's so easy just to get looped into Facebook, or if you're like me and you have ADHD, someone sends you a video of their kid fishing and you end up watching the whole 20-minute video just to make sure the kid caught the fish. And then you see something similar from whoever and you start going down this rabbit hole and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to do this and it's due by then. So when you eliminate a lot of the distractions and get away from the day-to-day negative anchors and just set that stuff outside the room, like, it is so beneficial, because I think where you put your focus, you are putting your energy, because where focus flows, or where focus goes, energy flows. So I chose to be consciously aware of what I'm thinking also. And I believe it is a helpful tool that I just want to share with you guys. Reject this if it doesn't apply to you, but take a shopping cart approach to things. If something you like what I say works, take it off the shelf and put it in your basket. If something I say that you don't like, take it out of your basket, put it back on the shelf. Reject this stuff as it doesn't apply to you. But obviously, if you want to stop getting what you're getting, you have to stop doing what you're doing currently, which means you have to change what you're thinking. You have to change your internal representations of how you perceive things, and you have to change what you see as well. So get away from the negative anchors, set the cell phone outside, but focus on the income or the money-making activities that are actually driving profit and revenue. And the goal of business is to become more profitable. Am I wrong with that? And the long-term goal is just to outlast the competition. But these distractions, like I would put 5% of my juju or energy or focus or attention onto childhood trauma. I would put 3% of my attention onto my parents saying that it was stupid to try to run my own business, get a job. I was placing 10% of my attention on the teacher in second grade who'd said I would never amount to anything, and now I'm making more than her. So these thoughts are just your perceptions of reality, and I promise you, your perception is your projection. I'll say that over and over again because people need to be reminded, not taught. And it's just that simple. So just be conscious of what you're thinking of. When you can realize what you're doing consciously that you were doing unconsciously in the moment before, you can start to change things or use what's known as a pattern interrupt. So a pattern interrupt is like when you see your kid crying on the floor. What I've taught parents to do is to get on the floor and throw a bigger tantrum than their kid. Why? It breaks the pattern. And that pattern interrupt where they stop and they're like, what the hell is my mom doing crying on the floor next to me being a fool? Or what is my dad doing making a big scene just because I was crying on the floor throwing a tantrum? This is what the 4 or 5-year-old's thinking. And it becomes a part of the pattern, the new behavior. So you can use a pattern interrupt in your own thoughts or decision-making process, whatever you want to do, but just install these habits and I promise you, you'll get a lot better results and you'll be consciously aware of it. And when we're consciously aware of growth or progression, we're a lot happy. One of the prime directives of the unconscious mind is that we are primed to continually want more. That's why it's so easy for me to, like trophies on the wall. The moment of the most intensity was right when I got it. And after that, it started depreciating. So I wanted more and more and more. I was primed to continually want more. And that's the beauty for me just installing habits, is that I know I will get more rather than focusing on goals. I don't believe in running away from things. I believe in running towards, because like when you're running away from a lion and you make it safely to the cage right before he bites you in the butt and takes a huge chunk out of you, you made it to the cage, you're safe, you can stop working now, right? So the beauty of towards directives is that you're always running towards it, not away from something, because you don't want to become complacent or feel like you reached or summited the top of the mountain. I don't ever want to feel like I've made it, because at that point, the trap door to your mind closes and there's nothing else for you to learn. And if you ever feel like you're at a point where you can't learn nothing else, that's a pretty dangerous spot to be in, because you're not receptive to any other ideas. And this was me when I got really good at selling life insurance. Was I thought I was God's gift to the insurance industry, and that was definitely not the case, especially once I learned NLP. So just be consciously aware of what's taking your attention. I would say reject all the morning routines that are not making you money, or if you're taking 3 hours to do meditation and it's not making you any money, free up that 3 hours and maybe only do it 30 minutes a day instead of 3 hours. I don't know what your morning routines are, but I would literally spend 4 hours a day doing frivolous BS that did not make me any money and did not make me feel any better. It just made me feel like I was doing more, when in all reality I was actually doing less. So my routines don't apply to you, just like Jeff Bezos's routines do not apply to me. Why? I don't have the same amount of leverage or capital or access to that liquidity that he does. So just be consciously aware of what you're putting your attention on. Focus on the 2 or 3 things a day that are actually driving you revenue, and stop saying I'll do it end of week, and just say I'll do it end of hour or end of day. Because when you do something end of week, you get 52 things done a year. When you get something done end of day, you get 365 things done. That is a huge increase, and it looks like an unfair advantage when in all reality it was just speed. And speed necessarily isn't how fast things get done, it's just a focus. It's micro speed, macro patience. So I hope that made sense for you. I tried to break this down as simple as I could, but let's move on to the next video. But I just wanted you to be aware of consciously what you're choosing to place your focus on, because that is one of the most important things. If you're sitting on the phone dialing and it ruins your physiology, your state, your behavior, your attitude, your mental perspective on what you're doing, because perspective drives performance every day of the week. How you view what you do will always affect how you do what you do. So be consciously aware of what you're focusing on. Maybe try writing it down for a week and you're like, wow, I can't believe I spent this much time on social media or this much time worrying about what my mom and dad said. And the thing you have to realize about other people's opinions is that most people aren't actually thinking about you as much as you think they are thinking about you. Like right now, you're probably not thinking about what someone else is doing. And we can apply that to other people. It's a solid principle, which just means it doesn't really matter what other people are doing, because 3 weeks after you pass away or my body turns to dust, they're not going to be thinking about me anyways. And so it really doesn't matter what I'm doing in the grand scheme of things. And the philosophy I like to apply behind that is, do I care more about what they think about me, or do I care more about how I feel and think about myself? And so I hope this was extremely useful for you. I wish someone would have told me this when I was born and I could have just had it installed in my unconscious mind. But let's go over to the next video and I'll see you guys over there. Thanks.